we also switch on to the Live FX panel. So we have certain settings. We have, I think by default, it opens to camera settings, and it shows, okay, this is basically it should be a full frame camera. It has a sensor size, there's a crop factor, and blah, blah, blah. And it's assuming that we get the position from the tracker. If we don't have it configured correctly, we can do manual setting, and this might be that your system goes crazy. It gives a, I don't know, 15 meter or something value, which is totally insane. So we can just zero it out, and you can see, okay, if I start zooming, it's kind of telling that, okay, my camera is somewhere in the studio related to this scene. It also has probably a Y position and maybe an X position. So these values should come from the camera or the tracking system, but if you don't have a tracking system, you can assign the manuals. Also, if your camera is like tilting or panning, you can adjust those values here. So all of these kind of data should actually come from the tracking system. So this is very important, like where are we in this menu? So Live FX menu, most important things, the frustum, the media, the framing. The next controls are basically for color controls, more or less, and then there's some extra ones, loading and saving. So the UI is kind of just puts everything out there. There's no kind of hidden menus, everything is up there, and they're not kind of organized in any kind of very coherent manner. They're just like next to each other. So you have to be careful what you do. Got the other ones. Frustum. So basically this is kind of defining what is your camera seeing and what is your background. So basically you can set up the background to use a still image from your footage. So you can see the video is still running, but the background now is stuck in. Basically, you can disable the whole frustum, and you can make it much brighter or much lower if you want. You also notice that it actually is here now as a layer. Basically, some settings also here for the how does the frustum behave. So basically only the field of view, because it's linked to the camera. So the camera sensor and these kind of things are the ones that decide. So do the settings over here instead of the frustum over here. It's also linked to the stage manager because this is how it shows correctly on our screen. We did the projection setup, and if you want to see that, you can go over here, projection control, and right click, and you can see the stage manager also from here. So you now actually see that here is my camera, and it's looking at the screen again. Kind of we positioned, or we didn't position the camera upwards, so we probably need to raise it up a little bit, like so that's probably where our camera should be. One way to do like a background color. So if you want to use not this image as a background, the outer frustum, uh, basically you have the projection set up and the media, and you go for the frustum, you say background, use a foreground still, so you get this image there. And for this, if you right click, you can say that use a color node. If you drag and drop, you can see that you can insert, matte, fill, or replace. So at least replacing works. By default, the color is black. So you get this new node called color frame, and it's black. So if you go and click, you get to set this color. So it can be pink or green or whatever. I noticed that if you now click somewhere, it loses the color. So you have to go there and choose a color and press return key. I don't know, just figured that out. Not really documented anywhere, I guess, or maybe it was, but at least you can't figure that out in the interface. The next thing is that it's really too small. So you can either scale it from here, or in the media you can go and say, okay, that was the 2640, and restriction key and 1056. So now it should be kind of covering the screen. And now it's the background of your video footage. The idea is that sometimes you can use the LED screen for as a kind of lamp to give an extra color, so maybe more white or something like that. So you could go for definitely just a brighter image, and now you would have a little bit more light coming from the LED screen. Typically not a good scenario because you want the light on the actor, not on your screen.